Hello guys, it's me Karthik. Hope you guys are doing really good. So in today's tutorial, we are going to learn about the REST client and get example. Okay, how we can consume a external web service with the help of the with the help of the REST client with get method. Okay, so this is a new feature being added in Spring 3.2 version, guys. Okay, and this is any other libraries do you need? No, this is comes as part of Spring Starter web only. Basically the purpose of REST client is to communicate for the synchronous API calls, not for the asynchronous, only for the synchronous web API calls. For asynchronous you can use a web client, whereas as for synchronous you can use web client as well as REST client as well. Okay, so as of now we don't have the official version of Spring Boot 3.2, so I am going to use 3.2.0 snapshot only. Okay, so I have created one empty project called REST Client Explore, where I am using 3.2.0 Spring Boot 3.2.0 snapshot, and I have Spring Starter Web and the Lombok and the test project. Okay, and what is the external API we are going to consume is this is a API we are going to consume, and we will get this response and we'll try to pass this response directly. Okay, so yeah, let's get started here. And before getting into it, I have created this project, right? There were a couple of packages I have created just to save lot of time. So one is a configuration package where I'm going to add my REST client configuration. Another one is a controller to consume to create this endpoint and show you the results. Another one is a model where I am going to use for the beans, and the service layer where the actual backend logic will happen. So let's create a REST client configuration. So REST client configuration, and let's tell our Spring Boot that this is a configuration with the help of the configuration annotation. And also let's create a bean here. So here public rest client now you could see that one, right? So rest client here, return REST client dot, here you have this create method where you can create basic one or from the base URL, or you already have REST template in your project, then you can use that as well. So let me create with no parameters here, this one. Okay, then I am going to consume uh, my web service, what you call web service, this API here. Okay, so let's say like students info as a class I have taken, and let's keep this as a service. And whatever we have created the configuration, we need to use it. So for that purpose I have added all constructor which is coming from the Lombok, and here private final and REST client, right? So REST client. Okay, so in the REST configuration as well, let's add all args constructor and no args constructor. Okay, and in my service I have added the REST client as auto here. Now let me take public, as of now let's keep it wide, get student info, student info. Why student info? Because the endpoint that we are hitting is returning us the information about the students, right? So something like name, address and hobby, so I just given as a student info here. Okay, and we have this REST client, right? So let me use that REST client here, REST client, and I am going to use the get call. So I have taken this get call and the URI, that URI we are going to pass. What is a URI? This is a URI, we have it. So let's pass this URI directly here, or else what you can do is you can create a base in the there and call it from here. Yeah, I think that would be much more complicated and better suggestion, I would say. So this is my base and here this is my URI. Okay, REST client URI I have taken. Okay, and I need to pass anything here because I don't have any path param or the query params as of now, so I'm not passing anything here. And how do I get the data? Simply use retrieve. Okay, so let me put a enter here, then you put retrieve, then here body you want to convert the body type into. Okay, so what is the response format we have? So this is my response object here. If you see, this is my response. If you see here, there is a separate bean here called status, so this I have to create, and this is nothing but my JSON object, and this is a list of JSONs. So potentially I have one bean here and another bean here, and for entire another bean, right? So let's go in that direction. So in my model I have this, so let me create something like status info as a one bean, where private, if you see here, this is the one I'm creating for, and here this is nothing but number, right? So I'll keep it as long because I don't know whether it's the integer or the long, so I'll take it as a long, and this is my string. So and just copy these two items so that we will follow the same names. Keep it here, private long status code and private string status message. Now let's remove both of them. Okay, now what I can do is I'll add args constructor and no args constructor and the setter and the getter. Okay, this is my student status info. Okay, now what I need to build, I need to build this object. Okay, so here let me keep it as student info class, something like student info. Let me get all of them into this. I can remove it later on. Something like private long id, I can take private string name, I can take, and private string address I can take. And if you see, I have completed these two, so I can remove. This is a array of list, right? Sorry, string list, right? So private list of string type of name hobby. So I have taken this. Now I can remove this directly and import the list properly here. Okay, done. Now what are completed? This is completed. Now I need to create this outer bean called response. So let me use another bean here called student response. Here I have, this is a list, right? So list of student info of what is the name response, because in that response I could see it as a response, and this status as well. So what is the status? So this is nothing but status info with the name status. Okay, now let's import the list. Okay, so our response mapping is done. I can use this as part of my service. So once I have clicked, once I given retrieve, and in the body I want my response to be converted into this format. which is class format. Now let's import this. Now what will happen? Let's introduce one new variable called this, and uh, student response. Let's return the body. Okay, so this is my student info where I have used REST client directly. Okay, cool. Now just for demo purpose, I'm going to create a controller here called let's say student controller, so that we can invoke our service here. So for that purpose, let me keep it as REST controller and Alex constructor and private final student. What is that name I given? Students info is a name I given. Okay, so students service. Let me keep like this, a better meaningful name. And let's take a get mapping here. Okay, get students data private, as of now keep it void, public void get students. I think the better name would be get all students data. Okay, let me copy paste it here, and let's return whatever that is there as part of the service directly here. Okay, and this should be like, what is that, student response. Yeah, I think we are good to go now, and let me run my server here, and application is running on 9013, and this is my endpoint. Let me prepare my endpoint here. Application is running on 9013, and okay, REST client configuration is already okay. There is some issue we are facing here. Okay, let me delete this target folder once, clean it. Okay, clean is completed. Now this is my endpoint. Let me be ready with that. Okay, I think builder will start slowly. If you see here, builder will start slowly. I think as of now you guys have understood, right? I think there is a constructor REST configuration is already defined. Okay, let's not add these two here. Remove that because it is throwing something. Configuration bean, and I'm adding over there. I think this should be sufficient, I believe. Let's see. I think it is starting now. RestClient base URL I have given, and there I am adding the actual one. Here I am adding the actual one, mark get students. This should be matching with the actual one, this mark get students, right? Cool. Yeah, I think we are good to go, guys. If you have any doubt until now, please let me know in a comment section so that I can help you more on this. And our server is started at 9013, so let me hit the endpoint here, get all students, and you could see Here I think not accessible. Get all students data is not accessible. Let's see why. Okay, not representable. Okay, let me do here one thing. Let me remove this guy, and as part of the service, let me keep entire thing here. Yeah, now let's try. I think we are good to go with this. Now you could see here our server is starting, and it is started at 9013. Yeah, I think I could hit now. Not acceptable. Why? Why? Get all students. I think did my endpoint is not correct or what? Get all students. Acha, here let me keep value. Uh, 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 uh. Started the build. These are the different sort of issues you also might face. That's why I'm not, forwarding anywhere. I'm just going one item at a time. Let's see what is going to happen. Now let's see. Not acceptable. Status 406 not acceptable. Not acceptable representation. Why? This is get call only, right? Get localhost 90 http 9013 all students data. Anything else we have? No. REST controller. I probably think something am I missing. Mock students http retrieve body response I'm printing here. What else am I missing? I don't know. Configuration I have taken, controller I have taken, and why it is coming not accessible. Not acceptable. Why? Okay, let me put one thing here. Here, HTTP media type not acceptable exception. HTTP media type not acceptable exception. Okay, retrieve URI body response dot class string response status. Acha. Understood. Here you need all args constructor, no args constructor. I think that setters and getters are causing the issue. Okay, setter and getter. Acha. Okay, right. I think we are good to go now. This should work because it probably not able to set that value here. That's the problem. Okay, so my server started running. I think I can hit now. No, I think another issue I faced. That's good. Invalid no serializer found student info, no properties discovered. Okay, student info, no serializer found. That is fine. Here also I need to add all as constructor, no as constructor, and setter and getter. Okay, now let's restart. We are facing multiple issues, but those are good sort of issues, and we need to face these things, right? Now you could see it is starting the server. Yeah, now we got the response, which is good. I wanted to do one more thing. Here we have taken this entire thing, right? I wanted to just use it here, and I want to send this to the configuration because that is my base, right? So let's see how it comes. Okay, and let's restart it now. This is my base URL I'm taking, and there I am just using the URIs. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen with that. I started running that. Yeah, I think I could run now. Yeah, we got the response, right? Yep, that's it from this tutorial, guys. It's a bit long, but yeah, useful.